When hiring, some companies emphasize people over process, while others pride themselves with pioneering the structured hiring. And there are even some that emphasize their hacker-like culture. So in this video, I'm going to talk about how Amazon's hiring process differs from other companies and hopefully give you some interesting insight into how it works. You'll be forgiven for not reading the entire FAQ section on Amazon's jobs website, which by the way they recently updated, but there they state that part of being a peculiar company, Amazon doesn't allow cover letters. And I believe this is an important insight which gives you a good idea on how much emphasis Amazon puts on being yourself while applying for a role there. Pretty much any respectable company nowadays has a set of core values and leadership principles. I'm sure you've probably already heard about Netflix's famous culture deck. And Amazon has its own 14 leadership principles, which are, by the way, quite popular. But what not many people know is that together with the behavioral questions, these things make 50% of the Amazon interviewing process. And all this given that Amazon is primarily a tech company. The dress code for the Amazon interview is casual, and that's pretty much in line with other similar businesses. Now, also, what's interesting here is that their interviewers are also dressed casual, and they are really usually chill folks. And furthermore, the same experience continues once you join the team. Amazon has also one of the best jobs websites around, probably as good as Google's, and their online application process is quite smooth. Now, what's interesting here, when compared to other companies, Amazon is one of the very few companies that actually encourage you to get in touch with their recruiters over LinkedIn to eventually discuss the details of the opportunity and essentially to gain a lot more intelligence before taking a decision in that way. Many of the people that reach the on-site interview at Amazon are asked to prepare a two-page narrative to send just before the on-site take place. And while asking for people to prepare essays is not unheard of, for instance, Tesla does this as well, there is something special at Amazon about this writing culture. And why I'm saying this, because for instance, once you get into Amazon, in order to obtain buy-in for pretty much any project, you will have to prepare what they call a 6-page narrative together with your team. And this will be the bread and butter of obtaining your desired outcomes while in meetings and while discussing around this topic. Now, to be frank, I've never heard of any other company to use these bar razors during their interviewing process, and this Disbar Razor is actually a senior member of another team that has the main goal to evaluate the applicant as a great long-term hire, and they do have a veto power over the hiring process. And apparently this is part of Amazon's interesting strategy to only hire people that are at least as good as 50% of their existing workforce. There are very few businesses, especially in online retail, that are not customer focused, but the difference here is that many of them are also probably even more focused on their competition. Now, Amazon has a very special culture in the sense that they emphasize this customer obsession. This is actually one of the first of their 14 leadership principles. And furthermore, here they test pretty much everyone against this one by asking questions such as, what's the difference between customer focus and customer obsession? This one is a bit more technical in the sense that there are companies that pride themselves with a structured hiring process, and notably Google that pioneered this concept of structured hiring. And then there are others such as Netflix that favor people over process. Amazon uses a pretty structured interviewing process, and it's a great thing if you ask me. And also what's important to understand here is that there will be people that evaluate you at every step of the process. And for instance, during the on-site interview, interviewers will literally have to check boxes, for instance, to check you for some leadership principles. So hopefully this gave you some interesting insight into how Amazon's hiring process differs from others, and I believe this will be especially useful if you will ever consider to apply for one of the FANGs. So that's pretty much it, and thank you very much for watching.